Most men think attraction begins with the perfect line. They believe there's some hidden sentence, some magical phrase that suddenly flips a switch in a woman's mind. But attraction rarely starts with words. It starts with energy. It starts with how you carry yourself before you even open your mouth. A woman can feel insecurity before you speak, and she can feel confidence before you say a single thing. That's because human beings are constantly communicating beneath language. Your posture, your eye contact, your pace, your emotional state, all of it speaks louder than your rehearsed conversation. The mistake many men make is that they enter interactions trying to get approval. They want the woman to validate them, desire them, choose them. And the moment that need enters your energy, the dynamic changes. Neediness creates pressure. Pressure kills attraction. Women are highly sensitive to emotional pressure because attraction is emotional before it is logical. If your presence feels tense, desperate, or performative, she feels it instantly, even if she can't explain why. But a grounded man creates the opposite experience. He creates emotional ease. He's relaxed without being passive, confident without trying to dominate, present without forcing attention onto himself, and this is where real attraction begins. Because confidence is not loudness, confidence is emotional stability. It's the ability to remain calm, playful, and centered regardless of the outcome. Think about the men who naturally attract attention in a room. They're usually not the ones talking the most. They're not constantly trying to impress people. In fact, they often appear detached from the need to prove themselves. That's powerful because it signals self-worth. A man who is comfortable in his own skin unconsciously tells the world, I don't need validation to feel valuable. And that emotional independence is magnetic. Now notice something important here. Women are not only attracted to appearance. They are attracted to how a man makes them feel emotionally. A woman may forget your exact words, but she will remember how she felt around you. Did she feel tense, judged, pressured, or did she feel relaxed, feminine, excited, safe, and emotionally alive? That emotional experience becomes associated with you. This is why humor matters. This is why emotional presence matters. When you can make a woman laugh genuinely, you temporarily remove stress from her nervous system. You create emotional movement. And emotional movement creates connection. But humor only works when it comes from authenticity, not performance. The man trying too hard to be funny usually kills attraction because everyone can feel the effort behind it. And there's another layer most men ignore: self-control. One of the most attractive qualities in any man is restraint. Not because he lacks desire, but because he controls it instead of being controlled by it. The moment a man becomes overly reactive to beauty, he gives away his power. But when he appreciates a woman without losing himself in her presence, he becomes emotionally solid. That stability creates trust. You see, attraction is deeply psychological. A woman wants to feel that being around you adds emotional value to her experience of life. Not chaos, not insecurity, not emotional hunger, value. And emotional value comes from the way you think, the way you lead conversations, the way you handle silence, rejection, tension, and uncertainty. A weak man panics in silence. A grounded man is comfortable in it. A weak man performs for attention. A grounded man expresses himself naturally. A weak man chases outcomes. A grounded man focuses on connection. That difference changes everything, because the truth is, attraction often happens long before physical intimacy. It happens in the emotional atmosphere you create around another person. And when a woman feels emotionally safe while also feeling excitement and tension, desire can develop far faster than most men realize. Attraction is not built by forcing chemistry. It's built by becoming the kind of man whose presence feels impossible to ignore. And the moment you stop trying to be chosen is often the moment you become unforgettable. One of the biggest misconceptions men have about attraction is the belief that more effort automatically creates more desire, so they chase harder, they text constantly, they over-explain themselves, they become available every second of the day. And ironically, the more they try to secure attention, the faster attraction disappears. Why? Because desire does not grow in pressure. Desire grows in emotional space. Human beings value what feels emotionally meaningful, not what feels instantly guaranteed. The moment someone senses that you are desperately trying to win them over, the interaction stops feeling natural and starts feeling transactional. There's no tension anymore, no curiosity, no emotional pull. Everything becomes predictable, and predictability, while comfortable, rarely creates excitement. This is why mystery has always played a role in attraction, not fake mystery, not manipulation, but emotional depth. A grounded man reveals himself gradually. He doesn't unload his entire personality in the first conversation because he's not trying to force intimacy. He understands that connection deepens over time. He allows a woman to discover him instead of overwhelming her with constant pursuit. And this requires patience, something modern dating culture has almost destroyed. Most people want immediate validation, immediate replies, immediate certainty, but attraction is not a business transaction where results arrive instantly. Attraction breathes through anticipation. The mind becomes emotionally engaged when there's space to wonder, imagine, and feel curiosity. Think about it psychologically. When a woman leaves a conversation still thinking about you, that's powerful. When your energy lingers in her mind after you're gone, attraction starts building internally without you even being present. But most men interrupt this process by overchasing. They keep reaching, pushing, forcing interaction because they're anxious about losing attention. And that anxiety communicates insecurity. A man who constantly seeks reassurance unconsciously tells a woman, "I don't fully believe I'm enough." But a man who remains calm, patient, and emotionally centered communicates abundance. Not abundance of money or status necessarily, but abundance of self-worth. And self-worth changes the emotional dynamic completely. Now understand this carefully. Emotional tension is not about playing games. It's about polarity. It's about creating an emotional experience that feels alive. Playful teasing, eye contact, subtle pauses, confidence in silence. These things create emotional movement because they activate emotion instead of forcing logic. Attraction is emotional first. Logic comes later. That's why some men can say very little and still create strong chemistry, while others say everything right and still get ignored. Women respond less to rehearsed perfection and more to emotional authenticity. If your energy feels rehearsed, calculated, or approval seeking, the interaction loses emotional weight. But when you're fully present, playful, and emotionally unattached to the outcome, you create freedom inside the interaction. And freedom is attractive. Another thing many men misunderstand is the power of focus. A man with purpose naturally becomes more attractive because his life does not revolve around female validation. He has direction, discipline, internal structure. Women are drawn to men who are emotionally grounded in something bigger than immediate pleasure because it signals stability and strength. And notice how different that feels from desperation. Desperation says, "Please choose me." Purpose says, "I already value my life and I'm inviting you into it." That difference is everything. This is also why listening becomes such an underrated skill in attraction. Most people don't listen to understand, They listen to respond. But when a woman feels genuinely heard, she relaxes emotionally. She stops feeling like she's being worked on by another man trying to impress her. Instead, she feels seen. And being deeply seen creates emotional intimacy faster than surface level flirting ever could. The irony is that the less obsessed you become with controlling the outcome, the more naturally attraction begins to grow. Because real confidence is not trying to force connection, real confidence is trusting your presence enough to let connection happen organically. And when a man learns to stop chasing validation, he stops draining energy from interactions. Instead, he starts creating energy. He becomes emotionally magnetic because he no longer approaches women from lack, fear, or emotional hunger. The truth is simple. People are drawn toward those who are already emotionally fulfilled within themselves. And the moment you stop trying to convince someone to feel attraction is often the moment they finally do. At a certain point, attraction stops being about techniques and starts becoming about emotional experience. This is the part most men fail to understand. They focus so heavily on what to say, when to text, how long to wait, how to appear attractive, that they completely ignore the emotional reality happening in front of them. A woman does not decide to become intimate simply because a man looks good or says the right words. Intimacy happens when she feels emotionally free in his presence, free to relax, free to express herself, free to feel desire without pressure, judgment, or emotional tension weighing her down. And this is why some connections escalate very quickly while others never move forward at all. It's not always about time. It's about emotional alignment. Two people can spend months talking without chemistry, while another connection can develop intensity within hours because the emotional atmosphere feels natural, exciting, and safe simultaneously. That balance matters more than most men realize because attraction is built on two psychological forces working together at the same time: emotional safety and emotional excitement. If a woman feels safe but bored, attraction fades. If she feels excitement but no trust, she becomes emotionally guarded. But when both emotions exist together, comfort and tension, calmness and anticipation, desire becomes incredibly powerful. This is why emotional intelligence is one of the most underrated qualities in modern relationships. A man who understands emotional energy can read situations without forcing them. He notices body language. He notices tone changes. He notices comfort levels. He understands that real confidence includes restraint, patience, and awareness. Weak men rush intimacy because they fear losing opportunity. Strong men understand that attraction grows naturally when there is mutual investment. And women feel the difference immediately. There's also something deeper happening psychologically during attraction that most people never talk about. Human beings crave emotional liberation. Daily life is filled with stress, expectations, performance, and pressure. So when someone enters your life and creates an emotional escape from all of that, when they make you feel alive, playful, desired, understood, the connection becomes memorable very quickly. This is why presence matters so much, not performative charisma, not fake confidence, presence, the ability to fully exist in the moment without mentally chasing the next outcome. A man who is completely present creates emotional certainty in the interaction. His attention feels genuine. His energy feels calm, and calmness, when combined with masculine direction, creates a very powerful emotional effect. Because most people today are emotionally distracted, they're talking while thinking about something else. They're listening while trying to impress. They're physically present but psychologically absent. And when someone finally encounters a person who is deeply attentive and emotionally grounded, it stands out immediately. Now, understand this carefully. Genuine seduction is not manipulation. Manipulation tries to bypass another person's freedom. Real attraction respects it. A woman should never feel emotionally cornered, pressured, or obligated. The strongest connections happen when desire emerges naturally from mutual chemistry and trust. Anything forced eventually collapses because forced attraction is emotionally unstable. And ironically, this is what makes confidence so attractive in the first place. Confidence is not taking what you want. Confidence is knowing you'll be okay regardless of the outcome. That emotional self-sufficiency removes pressure from the interaction. It allows both people to relax into the moment honestly instead of playing roles. This is also why authenticity becomes more seductive than perfection. Perfect behavior feels calculated, realness feels human. A woman connects more deeply to a man who is emotionally honest, grounded, playful, and secure than a man performing some rehearsed version of alpha masculinity. Because deep down, people are searching for emotional experiences that feel real. And when a woman feels emotionally safe enough to let her guard down while simultaneously feeling excitement, curiosity, and desire, intimacy can happen much faster than logic can explain. Not because she was manipulated, not because a line worked, but because the emotional connection felt effortless and genuine. Attraction, at its highest level, is not about controlling another person. It's about mastering yourself, your emotions, your energy, your presence, your intentions. Because the most powerful thing you can become is not a man who knows how to chase desire, but a man whose presence naturally inspires it.